All right. This is my friend Kelly, and we haven't known each other really very well for very long. Like, when did you first move? Yeah, when did you first move into this area?
9 years ago.
9 years ago. So when Dylan was like 2?
3. He would have been 3.
Okay. Yeah, and so we were just kind of peripheral, and then you started this homeschool group, and I didn't even know you homeschooled. So I was like, when I heard Beth say there's a homeschool group starting, I'm like, yes, hooray, I'm in. I know what that's all about, and I didn't even know it was TJ Ed, and then that was even better. So very, very cool. Anyway, so we're just gonna have a conversation, and it's really strange and awkward to, but we gotta pretend there's no camera.
Yeah.
All right.
No, we'll try.
All right, we'll try. All right, so, because we can cut out whatever we want. Just cut and splice, whatever we want. So tell me about how you got into homeschooling and what that experience has been for you so far.
Well, Dylan's my first, and when he was time to go into kindergarten, they have a name for it, kindergarten roundup or something like that. And
Orientation, yeah.
I took him into, they get to meet the teachers and get to see a classroom, and you fill out all this paperwork. So I took him into the elementary school, and we had a friend in the same ward, or in the same school, who had children already going there, and it was new, and she had great things to say about it. So I went in with no problems. Yeah. And then I had this terrible gut feeling, and having walked around and listened to their whatever they tell the whole group of parents, and seeing the classroom, and I just thought, this is not what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but it's not send him here.
Scary feeling.
Yeah, it was
just super scary.
Lost.
Yeah.
And I went home and told my husband, and he was like, okay, so a charter school, right? And we started looking, and we felt good about Montessori schools, and I started praying, what am I supposed to be doing, since it's not going to a regular school? And somehow we decided to homeschool, and then we even got into this Montessori school, and by then I had already committed and was like, you know what, I at least want to try this. I can't mess him up in kindergarten. So I'm safe for the first year.
Let's see how this goes.
And then after, and I don't honestly remember what we did for the first 3 or 4 months of school, but I was praying for guidance, and at Christmas time we were going out doing these service projects, and one of them was wrapping presents that were then going to get sent to foster kids, I think.
Yeah.
But it was down in Oregon City. So we were down in Oregon City, which is 40 minutes away, doing the service project, and I happened to start talking to another mom, and she starts telling me about a Thomas Jefferson education, which is a homeschool philosophy. And after talking to her, I just knew this wasn't a mistake. And 40 minutes away from my house doing a service project, and this lady talked to me for 30 minutes about it, and I feel so good about it. And she had kids that some were grown up and gone, some were still in her house, and so she knew that this...
She could say with authority,
this works, and look at how amazing my children are, and they love learning, and so that's what really got me started. Yeah, that was all the pieces I needed, and then I was good to go for homeschooling.
Yeah, I wish I'd had exposure to that, sure, but I think the reason I didn't, because I look back and I think, if I could have done that, with my youngest starting. Well, most of the TJ Ed and most of the real, effective philosophies regarding homeschooling hadn't been formulated yet. People were homeschooling, but they were really schooling at home.
Yes.
There was a Becca, and there was Sunlight, and there was curriculums, and when I started, I looked at those curriculums and went, it's not that it really wasn't the content. It was just the fact that there was so much content, and it was still me driving the bus
Yeah.
whack, 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 driving the oxen. You know, you have to keep going, you have to do this, you have to do this today, it has to be done this year. And I knew right up front, I mean, I knew we needed to do something every day, but the first couple of years were just kind of like, I don't know, reading a lot, or, of course, my oldest son was in high school, and that was crazier, because it was like, okay, it's getting serious, you know, what's he gonna do? And he hadn't been doing anything. And I really tried to, you know, I tried to put all, you know, sit down with them, let's talk about what you want to do. You know, do you want to get some math done? Here we have these math books, you know, what do you want to learn about? He tried a couple of, like, we didn't have online then, but he could get correspondence courses from BYU. So he tried like a language, and he tried like anatomy and some different things. Just totally bombed them.
Oh, really?
Just to get them done. Yeah, I mean, and we plotted all out on the map, on the calendar. And, you know, I'd say, you know, you got to get this done, or you just can't be with friends this week, you know, this weekend. So he wouldn't. And he spent all Saturday trying to get it done, so he'd go out and do something on Saturday. I mean, it's just a bomb. It was just a total bomb. High school for him was a total bomb. And yet he didn't want to go back to high school, and yet he wouldn't he wouldn't do anything. Yeah, those were crazy years. But there just wasn't the philosophy then. There wasn't an understanding of how to do this from the beginning, and
how to do it different than the way public school looks.
Yeah. Right. So, is this your first experience with like a group? No, it's not.
Having a homeschool group.
Yeah.
No, I was. So I started this one at the beginning of this year. I've been in one for the 2 previous years before that, but it was in Beaverton, it was an hour and 10 minutes once a week to get there and to get back again, and it was awesome and just what our family needed when they got to an age where they needed more peers. And other people who knew things that were different than me. But I knew after going for about 6 months, this is too far away. I can't keep this up for the lifetime of my family, especially some of the classes get more involved, and you have to go several times a week. There's like a Shakespeare class, and for a few weeks you go 3 times a week, and I was like, okay, 2 hours and 20 minutes of driving 3 times a week.
Ain't happening.
With like
I'm trying to have
at least 3 other kids, maybe more. Like this, I don't see this working long term. And so within that first year, I had the person in charge of the school and a mentor who helps with the school both said, you're gonna have to start your own closer to your own house.
Yeah.
And I was like,
now,
we'll just put that in the back burner.
Yeah, there was one down in Oregon City. I know that there used to be one. And then the person moved. There was quite a big group down there. And it kind of surprises me that they disbanded or whatever they did just because she moved. But maybe they just didn't have, you know, a big enough house. Maybe they split up into small groups or something.
I don't know. That was before I got involved. So I know some of the people who were involved with it, but I don't know what happened to it.
Right. So, this is all the things you went through the last 2 years, though, taught you how to do it for us, which is fabulous.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was on a training course. And when I go back and look, the DeMills came into town down in Eugene once, and so I got to have like 2 days, maybe 3 days of training by them, and they had our school that I was a part of had a mom's class. And so that was all, you know, how to homeschool and how are you taking care of yourself. And that was training. And they invited me into a once a month book club called Mentoring in the Classics. And so then I was getting mentored by, you listen to like an audio that introduces the book and some things you could think about or look for. And then you read the book and you listen to their family discussing it afterwards. And then you have a discussion with your book club. Wow. So you do every month a different book, and so there was all of that. And I was introduced, there was at least one other training that I was a part of. I was there for 2 summers and got to be trained in 2 of the scholar classes that I never taught. My kids were younger, but it gave me the vision of what is going to be happening. And it helped with my own personal education. And so when I look back and saw oh my goodness, all of this training was available to me and was just getting like constantly dumped on me.
Yeah.
And now I know why.
Yeah, absolutely. Because this group, were there no other East Side people going over to Beaverton besides yourself?
There was one family, and they had a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old.
So they're already beyond that to some degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wished we could, see, I never had that. And I never even knew there were groups you could start. We just naturally, banded together. And our program was just to do, we met on Fridays, and we, like Ann and I, the first couple of years was just Ann and I and her kids, and we just kind of did everything together. We just hung out a lot together, not only on Fridays, but usually 1 or 2 other days a week. She would just come over with her kids after school, and the kids would just play, and we would visit, and I just didn't do a lot else, during those years.
It doesn't need to be a lot else.
Yeah, there doesn't need to be, and the kids just became, and they're still, very good friends. They're all still very good friends. And then another gal in the state joined our family, and we did, for 1 year, we did all 3 families. So that was really fun. But then the 2 of them didn't get along. They had a little falling out, the 2 moms. And so Anne decided to leave the group, and then we homeschooled with the Stevensons for another 3 years, I think. And again, just same thing. They're just still best friends. I mean, Jake and Tanner are best friends, and Zeph and Mitchell are best friends. Nobody for Maddie again, because she's the Irish twin. But
I am still looking for that perfect family.
I know, it really matches up.
That really matches